The readings of today calls us to pray. They call us to pray so that we may have faith that will help us navigate the challenges of everyday life. Every day we are challenged. We meet various kinds of challenges. Challenges concerning our health, economic crisis, challenges and concerning our relationship with each other. So Jesus calls us to pray once he has been requested by his apostles, teach us, increase our faith. In the first reading, we meet a man called Habakkuk. Habakkuk was one of the minor prophets. Minor in the sense that what he wrote, or what is his prophetic ministry, the content is very small, smaller than others, just few chapters. Now, who was Habakkuk? Habakkuk was a prophet and an artistic poet, a gifted poet. He was called to be a prophet in the last years of the kingdom of the southern kingdom, which was Judah. The kingdom was divided between two, the northern and southern. The southern kingdom, the capital was Judah. And there was rampant corruption, injustice. So Habakkuk is called to minister to that region, to that people. At the same time, it was an amazing time. The people of Israel had the challenge of their faith. At the same time, the dynasty, the kingdom of Babylon was increasing. The Babylonian Empire was increasing with their expertise, ready to defeat them. And Habakkuk is called to be a minister in that region. And as a prophet, a concerned prophet, he mourns injustice. But thank God, in the end, God promises a day of justice. God promises that a day of justice is coming. Habakkuk, unlike other prophets, complained about the silence of God in the midst of injustice. His concern was, why is God so quiet? A lot of injustice is done to the people. God doesn't respond. What is the problem with our God? Or cry to you violence and you not save. God doesn't seem to save the situation. Why do you make me see wrongs and look upon trouble? That there's trouble all over. But God doesn't seem to respond. And he says, destruction and violence are before me. But God is quiet. Why? The other prophets complained about the faith of the Israelites, that they didn't obey and live to the commands, the statutes of the Lord. But Habakkuk shifts the whole outlook. He says, for him, it's the silence of God that strikes him, that God should not keep quiet in the midst of trouble. Habakkuk represents many of us in our communities. I don't know if you are happy when you see the so-called wicked person, one who does wrong all the time, and God spares that person. Are you happy when God spares the wrongdoers? When they prosper, they are doing more than us. Their businesses are prospering. Are we happy as Christians, as people? Oftentimes, like Habakkuk, we want to call God to punish them. Our breath, our thinking is, God must punish that one for being a wicked person. But God instead did not succumb, did not respond as Habakkuk would think. Instead, we see the response of injustice. When we meet injustice, in Jesus' response, when the disciples, the apostles ask him, Lord, increase our faith. So Jesus sees prayer, faith as a response, as a solution to everyday challenges of life. Today the disciples ask him, increase our faith. In another page, the disciples asked him, Lord, teach us how to pray. The same thing. He means the same thing. And we know that prayer is powerful. One who prays has faith in the Lord. One who prays has the force within themselves to be able to cope with the challenges of every day. And for that reason, the disciples asks, what is very important in our Christian journey? Our faith. Faith. So that must be our prayer. Lord, increase our faith. Lord, teach us how to pray. Because the disciples had seen how Jesus was keen, how he prayed. Every time after he performed a miracle, after performing a miracle, he set time aside. He went to an isolated place to pray. Even in the last days of his life, the most difficult time of his life, the darkest moment of his life, Jesus went to pray. And that is the reason why it was easier for Judas to find Jesus. Because he knew that Jesus was a prayerful person. So when they were asking, they wanted to, to arrest Jesus, they asked him, where could this person be? Judas knew that this person, if he is not preaching with the people, healing the people, he must be somewhere praying. They found him praying in the Garden of Gethsemane. That must be our spirituality. That must be our core. When challenged with our difficult situations, because difficult situations become moments of temptation, we must find ourselves in prayer. And the second reading is encouraging us. Once we have the faith, which is a given, a datum, a given from God, a gift that God gives us, freely given, we must not boast about our faith. Instead, we must go around unashamed, testifying our faith in the Lord, glorifying the Lord for the great faith he has instilled in us without fear. So we want to pray today and every day of our lives that the Lord may increase our faith, that instead of complaining as Habakkuk did to God about God's silence, we turn our complaints into prayer. We ask God to translate our everyday complaints into prayer, that our complaints become prayer, that we present our challenges, our crises, our needs to God, the only one who can respond to the challenges of our life, because he knows our needs and he loves us so dearly.